Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Forrest.
So, this week for Christopher Nolan month, we watched a little movie called Insomnia.
Insomnia.
Jimmy, do you have a description of the movie?
I do. From acclaimed director Christopher Nolan, Memento, comes the story of veteran police detective Al Pacino, who is sent to a small Alaskan town to investigate a murder of a teenage girl. Forced into a psychological game of cat and mouse by the primary suspect, Robin Williams, events escalate and the detective finds his own stability dangerously threatened. Interesting movie.
Yeah.
I feel I think because it's like in a rural town where it's kind of isolated, it has kind of Twin Peaky vibes through it.
But you're expecting that weirdness. And
Yeah, I didn't get it, so I was like, okay, but that's fine. Nolan does a really good job of making it very dreamy without making it too obvious. Do you know what I mean? Because even when kids as the day's going, because Al Pacino arrives at the town, he's going into this whole murder, and then he's like, it's 10 o'clock, let's pull the kid out of school, we'll figure out what's going on, and then they tell him it's 10 o'clock at night because they're in Alaska, and whatever. And so it just seeing that kind of small break in his his mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him being sharp, and then to him oh fuck, okay, because he's not in his element. It was oh, this is interesting. The detectiveness, the noirness of it, I kind of liked it. I was like, okay, cool. When the killer called, I'm like, because the killer calls Al Pacino at one point in the film.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Robin Williams? Why are you? And then it was awkward to hear his voice because I'm like, fuck, I didn't know he was in this movie.
I told you he was in this movie.
Did you? I must have forgotten. I must have forgotten because I was like, oh crap, I didn't expect this at all.
I found out from my sister yesterday at Thanksgiving that, because I was telling him about this movie.
Yeah.
And she was like, did you ever see 1 Hour Photo? I'm like, fuck yeah, I saw 1 Hour Photo. Because she's like, I used to watch that shit all the time. I'm like, you watch 1 Hour Photo all the time?
Yeah, I don't know, it hit me hard because I'm like, oh dang, I didn't, I don't know, I didn't prepare to hear his voice, and so I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, but I was thinking too, he has such a distinct voice too, why don't we call the town together for a meeting and have everybody you know what I mean? Because that would have been easy. Even his voice, you could tell his age range.
Yeah, but just because they call the town together doesn't mean he's going to show up.
That's true. Yeah, overall, I was like, oh.
Or he's gonna watch from afar.
Yeah, but then I was thinking too, it's when I was watching it, I was like, well, fuck, dude, you just gave away the fucking villain.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Because there's a little more to it.
Yeah, because I was like, you hear Robin Williams, well, fuck, I already know who it is. This is stupid. And then
but then you find out. But then you get to the meat of it where you're like, oh, because he's got shit on him.
Yeah, he does. And so, that was interesting. And seeing Al Pacino, he does a really good job.
He's not hoo-ha Al Pacino in this.
No, he's fucking good.
They somehow have him reeled in. I don't know how Christopher Nolan reeled him in. You only get a couple hoo-ha moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he's a little louder than he needs to be.
Okay, yeah. But there was one scene where I was like, fuck, he is locked in hard. Is when he was at the diner after they check in and they're they have to wait for the next day to talk to the boyfriend. And his partner is hey, he was talking about, hey, I'm going to have to
the partner he shoots?
Yeah, the one he shoots. Where he was hey, just to let you know, this is my plan. I'm going to go and talk to them and this is what it is. Because kind of selling out Al Pacino to save his own hide. The waitress comes over and he uses the waitress as a shield to kind of diffuse Al Pacino. And then when you cut to Al Pacino, he's got that fucking death stare right at him. You're
yeah.
Oh shit, this is intense. So part of me is is it the lack of sleep that fucked up your judgment that you shot your partner, or is it your inner anger coming out because your partner's going to betray you? You know what I mean? Like but they blend that line so well that you don't know whether it was intentional or if it was on purpose. Even though he says it was.
But he chews the scene a little too much. I think what it is, because he's not over the top, but they let him chew the scene a little too much. But it's one of those, what are you going to stop if you're Christopher Nolan and you're like, 2 or 3 movies in at that point?
Yeah.
If you're counting Following, I think you're Following. Have you seen Following?
No.
It's like his first movie. It's like an 80-minute movie.
Okay.
But it's
short.
Well, for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if there was a short film for him to make, it's that 80-minute movie. But it's also the detective story.
Okay.
Or I got like a noir type story. But if you're like 3 movies in and you're Christopher Nolan, are you gonna fucking tell Al Pacino, hey bud,
let's tone it down.
Let's tone it down.
But like the clues, everything that was happening was really good. I really liked the detective that was writing the report that they kind of blew off to the side, but she's a sharp detective.
Oh, Hilary Swank?
Yeah, and to the point where you're like, okay, cool. And you could see her picking up the pieces and like knowing like, oh, okay, cool. Especially that scene where it was post Al Pacino and Robin Williams have their meeting and decide like, oh, that story's weak, like this is how you would have to get away with it, and they kind of work on building his story better.
Yeah.
And then they go and they bring him in for interrogation, and it's very like lighthearted and very kind of like relaxed. And she's just looking at the two of them like, you motherfuckers have something together. Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Like, it's beautiful because she picks up the little things, and then it's all because Al Pacino's trying to sharpen her too. He's like, your name's going on this report, so fucking double check your facts. And then she's
double checking.
And she's on it, dude. Like, if it wasn't for him kind of blowing her off with that statement, she would have just forgotten it. You know what I mean? Yeah. She would just move past it. But fuck, dude. Yeah, this is a very smart film.
But yeah, okay, so this is a remake of a 1997 movie.
Okay.
From like I think
same title.
It's Dutch or Norwegian or something like that.
Got it.
Something like that. But when they were talking about making it, it was almost Jonathan Demme, Silence of the Lambs, Demme, with Harrison Ford as the Al Pacino role.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about.
I don't know who's around him though. I think it would kind of depend on who's around him.
Yeah, it's true, because if he's around people that he likes and respects, he pulls his shit together. When he's like very kind of like, whatever, I'll just phone it in.
What, you think you do that for? What, you think you did that for 5? Indiana Jones 5?
100%.
You 100% think you just phoned it in?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it's not a Spielberg.
The same,
you can tell.
You can tell it's not Spielberg.
You can tell it's not a Spielberg Indiana Jones movie. Like 2 minutes.
And it's like movie. That was just like a cash in. Like it was. I mean, the movie was. Okay.
I had no problem with it.
It was okay. It was not my favorite of the films, but it was better than Crystal Skull.
I'm hit or miss with Crystal Skull because sometimes I really like it, and sometimes I don't.
I like it up until the monkey scene.
That's like the one part you're like, oh, this is that's what kills that movie for you.
100%. Yeah. I don't need Shia LaBeouf swinging through the trees like Tarzan. Oh yeah. But yeah, dude, like this one was it was good. Like I didn't expect the twist of Al Pacino like teaming up with the killer Robin Williams
to fix everything.
To fix everything, and then like which is great too because like Robin Williams is a writer in this book. He writes novels, so you're like, oh cool, like he has that mindset to pick up the loose strings where like things would be too obvious.
You know, and
but then that double cross in the fucking interrogation room was fucking intense.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Like that, like because Al Pacino's like, well, fuck you, I'll nail you anyways, and then like, then he mentions a gun, and then Al Pacino purposely, which is I didn't even see it coming, where he fakes a fight with him and gets thrown out of the room because the main detective was like, oh, we'll get a warrant for his house right now.
Yeah.
So he does the fight early just to fucking get out of the room early so he could run to the house and fuck it. Dude, and then when he's in the fucking house digging around for it, oh, dude, it's yeah, dude, it was a really intense moment.
Well, that whole part, I thought it was funny when they're at the house at the end, and he was like, shoot the fucking guy. He's across the street. Yeah. Shoot him. And then she kind of just throws him the gun like you're a better shot.
Jeez.
And it kind of sucks. Like, I think he's really good in this movie. Robin Williams is, and I think he was doing a lot more grown up roles after doing like all those not gonna say like kid roles, but like more family shit.
He did a lot of family stuff.
Well, because he did the Peter Pan, he did Hook, and he did Patch Adams, he did all these things, and then he just kind of like not 180, but he just kind of pivoted to these like more grown up roles.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and I think because we thought we were gonna have more time with him, I don't think people like appreciated him like you would expect him to.
Yeah.
Because like
his movie didn't do great in the box office, right?
I think it's hit or miss. Well, it's always hit or miss with Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
He does really good or does like what was the last the last one was Oppenheimer. What did he do before Oppenheimer? The
Insomnia?
No.
What was the other
before
one?
Oppenheimer? Like Oppenheimer was the last one, and that one a shit ton of stuff. But the one before, where it was kind of a spy movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was like the backward time one.
Yeah, like that one was. I didn't like that.
I didn't like it. I tried to watch it. I just wasn't into it.
But like I don't think like he he wanted to be the Riddler in a bunch of shit, right?
Yeah, he wanted to do a bunch of cool roles, but they just opted for other people.
Well, he lost out because of Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like if Jim Carrey hadn't gotten that role for the Batman Forever, he would have been the Riddler in that. And then he was trying to get Chris Nolan to have him be the Riddler in his movies.
Yeah.
And
Tenet,
yeah. And then he was trying to get Chris Nolan to be Riddler in his movies. And they didn't end up doing the Riddler.
Yeah.
But see, if you played the Riddler like this, you know what I mean? Like if he played the Riddler like he played him in, if he used the Riddler, if Nolan had used the Riddler, and then Robin Williams played the Riddler like he played this character in here, it would have been good. I mean, this character is essentially, if this character is essentially that almost that character that Paul Dano plays in that new one.
Oh yeah. For
You know what I mean? Like
the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's almost that character.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have put that in there and.
Yeah, you could have made it. Yeah. Yeah, because he does the murder, but like his ego was.
Who? Robin Williams' ego?
Yeah, in this movie was just like it was just.
Well, that's the Riddler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
You're
right.
You're not wrong. His ego, that's the Riddler. Maybe that's how he did this role.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's.
Overall, the story structure was great. Like everything about this movie was really good. Like the dreaminess to it was like almost like losing my attention. But like luckily, Al Pacino kept tying me back into the film. But like his, but that dreaminess is part of the fucking movie because at the same time, like Al Pacino's 6 days at the end of the film with no sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So like everything, all his mind is just fucking going away like crazy. He does a good job of slowly being unhinged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to the point where he's actually dying, and he's like finally like going to like his final sleep. The detective
he tells Mara Tierney everything.
Yeah. Well, he kind of peppers it in through the thing at the very end. He tells her everything, but then like she's like, "I'll just take the evidence. I'll just hide it, and then like your integrity will be saved." And he's like, "No, fuck that!" Like because it's like this is exactly how he started it with planting the blood evidence. You know what I mean? So it was like he doesn't want her to follow the same fate that she did, because like obviously the weight was so heavy on him towards the end that it was just like, it was just coming out. But yeah, dude, this is a very good film. I don't know how. You have to be in the right mood to see it.
Yeah, I would. If it was, I forgot. I didn't remember how.
Because it's not slow paced, but it's very
not gory. Like I think the only like really gory is when they show the girl cut up at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Because I was trying to I'm like I'm gonna like this. Maybe she can watch this. And then I was like, oh, I think it's just I remember if there was more than one.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and I forgot it's just like 2 seconds at the beginning when like the picture kind of goes by.
Yeah.
But yeah, because she likes murder mystery shit, so it's like.
This one was good. This one was a twist, just because like it's cool because you get like a fallen, decorative like detective, who has like blemishes in his past, like literally crumble in front of your eyes because that's what's happening. Like it's every little thing. His shooting the partner was a fucking mistake. I mean, if that's what it was, because I'm still like,
Yeah,
I'm so iffy on it.
ambiguous they leave that.
So, but like it's like if it was a mistake, sucks.
Do you think he shot him or no? I mean, he shot him, but do you think he did it purposely?
I can see why. I can see why he did it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I have to give it a second watch to like be better on it. But like, I don't think he did it on purpose. But I think he was grateful that it happened because it obviously covers his butt on that end. But then now this is a second thing that he's like corrupted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like he's just like, okay, cool. And then he has to call his wife to tell him what's happening. And then like the wife is breaking down, telling him like, if you find the killer or you find his killer, don't bring him in or don't take him to jail. You know, just kill him. Which is basically she's telling him to kill himself. You know what I mean? So it was good. The wife, I figured like she was good for being like distraught wife over the phone.
Yeah.
But I felt like I needed more emotion over the phone. You know what I mean? Something more heartbreaky. Because
yeah, it was
very kind of like your standard. These are what I need you to say.
Yeah.
But like I felt like I needed more like.
But I also think he's mostly found his voice, but I still think he's trying to find his voice in some of this too, like his his directing voice. You know what I mean? Like what he wants out of a movie,
especially his actors. But yeah, no, like this was a decently great movie. I was trying to think of things that I don't like about the film, but it's a noir story with a great twist with the
great cast.
Yeah, great cast. You get the villain and the
Paul
hero.
Dooley, by the way,
together.
the chief when he gets there, his friend that's he was kind of.
Oh yeah.
That's the dad. You know, that's the dad from 16 Candles, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And he's still alive.
Is he?
Yeah, I was looking that up the other day. I was like, oh fuck, he's still alive. He's not dead yet.
But I like how Al Pacino's character, his reputation precedes him beforehand, because the moment he gets into the police station, they tell him like whatever he wants, whatever he needs, wherever he wants to go, everyone take him.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he tells him too. FYI, they told me to keep an eye on you on this and this, but fuck that. Cops, let's stick together.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, dude, like that's like it's just like it gives him like a blank check to just kind of like do what he wants to do, and then like because even then like, they don't question him when he takes the dead girl's best friend on the car ride back.
No.
And he takes her to the dumpster and goes like, "This is where they found your friend, by the way." He's like, "So you've been fucking like?" They find out that
she was fucking the boyfriend.
She was fucking the boyfriend and all this other bullshit. And you're like, dude, like this is crazy. And then like I like how he's like trying to like psych her out immediately by driving into that big rig, and then he turns last minute, and then like, dude, like he's like that would not fly at all. But since he's got like a full privilege to do what he wants, like dude, like he got shit done.
So we ask a question each week.
Oh, Corey Feldman.
The boyfriend.
Oh, that's really good. That's really, really good. Yeah, that would be really, really good. Because like he had like Corey Feldman has like that like fuck authority type of like that attitude that he wants to give out, and then him like telling the cop to like kind of fuck himself and whatever, and then at the end where he's with the girl and he's like grabbing her ass, like that's 100% Corey Feldman. You know what I mean? And so yeah, dude,
Corey.
That's actually beautiful.
That's so Corey.
But I would like to see more range from Corey. So I would think, if not the boyfriend, which is a great pick, I would say the partner he shoots.
Have you watched the Watchmen cartoon yet?
No, I didn't know there was a cartoon.
They did, and okay, so it's good.
Yeah.
If you've been trying to get someone to read the Watchmen and they won't read the Watchmen, like I tried to get Lisa to read the Watchmen, and she won't, so I made her sit and watch the cartoon. Like it'll do. It doesn't change anything. It's.
Is it the same story? Okay.
Yeah, it's not before Watchmen or anything like that. But it's good. It's only the first half up to him going to up to Rorschach going to jail.
Okay.
And then the second part just came out. Like they just put it up on HBO Max, and the second part came out. But I'm just gonna wait and make Lisa watch the rest of the Watchmen later. But they throw in the Black Freighter in there. Like they throw it in like they and the The only thing I didn't like was the animation was kind of like Spider-Verse. Like everybody tries to do that Spider-Verse thing now.
Oh,
when it's a comic book.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I didn't like.
What was I gonna say? I saw something and I was trying to remember what it was.
I watched a little movie this morning called Santa Jaws.
Santa Jaws. Okay.
It's a shark movie.
Obviously.
So
does he have a Christmas hat when he's in the water?
Yes.
Does he really? Does. Oh, I love it.
So okay, so here's what happens. So it starts off as the best movie ever.
Okay.
And then it turns into what it really is. So this kid, and you find out this is kid writing this comic book, and these kids are writing and drawing this comic book. And like this lady's tied up to a post, and Santa's like, ah ha ha, you know, I got you. And then like the hero comes in and he fights Santa a bit. And then Santa's like, oh, I gotta get rough. And Santa pulls off his jacket, and on his fucking forearms right here on the bottom, it says Feliz in a Navidad in Old English.
That's dope. That's dope.
And then, like, they're fighting and stuff, and he gets, like, uppercutted into the water, and then the shark comes in and eats him. And then, like, as it's eating him, and his hat floats back up, and then the shark picks it up. With
that's cool.
And goes.
That's beautiful.
So I was like, oh, so it's gonna be Santa Revenge shark movie.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to these kids in a comic book store, and what happens is now it's part Home Alone, part shark movie, where this kid's like, I don't like my family, and I wish my family would, you know, because he gets grounded for something.
Right.
I don't like my family, and he goes, I wish he'd go away. And as he's inking a picture of the shark, something happens with this pen that he has on his desk. And it manifests the shark.
So does it flop around or does
No. It goes to like the water in the area. So then he's like, so his grandpa's like, I know you're in trouble, but I'm gonna take you fishing. And he goes fishing, and it fucking eats the grandpa, and then it eats his uncle.
Sorry, you said fishing. It just triggered exactly what I watched. One of my buddies.
That's all I saw.
My buddy was watching he was watching Gleaming the Cube.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my god, I got a podcast for you to listen to. So I sent him our link.
Yeah.
And then I was, as I turned it on, because I wasn't sure which one came first. Because we did.
I think Thrashing is first, and then Gleaming the Cube.
It's Gleaming the Cube and then Thrashing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Okay. And so when I was listening to it, you mentioned a movie, and I was like, oh yeah, I was going to watch that movie.
What
so
movie?
I went through my list. It wasn't on my list. So I'm like, what the fuck? Bloodhook.
Did you watch Bloodhook?
I did watch Bloodhook.
Oh my god, Bloodhook was so fucking good.
It's a crazy ass movie, dude.
Like, and they cut that movie. That's the director's cut of that movie.
Okay.
They cut that movie up a lot more.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, but Bloodhook is fucking insane.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like,
God.
what is it? Like at first it was weird because it's like the kid's coming down this conveyor belt to the dock, and then the grandpa's fishing, and then the grandpa hears a noise, and he falls in the water, and then he's gone. And then, like, years later, they come back. It's a trippy little movie. Like,
yeah, it's fun though.
Like, it's just wacky to see because some scenes are just like,
it's so fucking out there.
Yeah,
it's just.
But yeah, I watched it. I loved it.
Was it on Tubi or something?
It was on Tubi.
Yeah, because a lot of those trauma movies are on Tubi.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton of trauma on Tubi.
It
was on Peacock for a bit.
Yeah.
That's where I watched it. It was Peacock.
But yeah, no, I thought it was great. It was just odd. It was longer than I expected, but if you're saying this is the director's cut, that's
it was like why. 2 hours long.
Because and it was a lot of weird, like you could see like, oh, this could be cut. I don't know why it's here, but
yeah, it was because they got the rights and they fixed it and they put it back to the way it was.
Yeah.
I finished a book today called The Last One at the Wedding.
Okay.
It was a little thriller book. Had a little bit of a twist in it. It was all right. Not the best, but pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I started reading Jurassic Park.
You never read it?
Never read it.
Oh, you're gonna.
So
see
the
it?
prologue was weird. I was like, "What is happening here?"
With the baby and the little dinosaurs.
Yeah, and then it was like, because you're, it's just this village. I was expecting it to start where the movie starts, but
no.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is.
So when Spielberg adapts things like that, or whenever he didn't adapt Jaws. Carl Gottlieb did. You know, I don't know if you know this. Same person who wrote The Jerk wrote Jaws.
Oh wow.
Carl Gottlieb.
Yeah.
He adapted it. Him and Spielberg went through it and like figured out what they do. Have you ever read the book Jaws?
No, I haven't.
There's some differences, and there's things that they actually ended up using in 2.
Okay.
There's a couple like subplots. You've seen 2, right?
I've seen 2 like years ago.
You know they talk about the real estate shit in 2 for a minute.
Ooh, maybe.
That was a subplot from the book. But there's another big thing that happens in the book. I like the book, but when you go back and think about the movie, you understand why they cut that movie the way why they made the changes that they did. Like, you get it. They change a few things. Like, there's things that they change. There's one big thing. There's one huge thing that you're like, oh, this changes everything. Okay. And it does.
Because the reason why I read started reading Jurassic Park was because I was watching. I was in San Diego helping somebody with their changing their struts in their car, and we were on the Navy base, and then somebody was talking about Phantom Menace, and then they're showing the scene at the end where, like, you know, Obi-Wan's just watching Qui-Gon get stabbed.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, okay, but every time I see that scene, I think of a guy we went to high school with, Brandon, and he was reading the book.
Which Brandon?
The one that stole the cutout from the liquor store, and then he ran over to your house to dump it, but I don't think you were home. He was reading the book, and he showed me a page where, like, it shows Obi-Wan's, like, mindset, where he's at, how he's feeling, how angry he got. And then it was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
It's weird to hear that guy hear you talk about that guy in Star Wars, because he was never like that guy.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, with me, we talked all the time. So like that always was in my head, like, oh, I need to go back and read that book to see, like, what the differences are. Which then I remember I used to Jurassic Park, so I'm like, oh, I'll give that a whirl. But, like, now it's like, now with Jaws, like, now I need to go back and, like, find my favorite movies and see if I can find the book equivalent. Because Fight Club and both the movie and book, I loved it.
Identical.
It's almost identical. There's a very few scenes that they cut,
but like they work, and I don't even think what's his face is mad about him. Like Polinick wasn't even mad about him. He's just like, no, I get that. You have to streamline a couple things.
So like, but now like I think that's my new thing is like going to movies and books and seeing like what differences.
I do that with books all the time. I whenever I hear a movie coming out that I'm interested in, I'll go and I'll put the book on my list to start reading the book.
Okay. Yeah. Normally, I don't normally go for movies that I know are based on books. I usually find out later on, like, oh, it's a book. Good to know.
Because I look at movies like if it's somebody I like they're doing Running Man, right?
Oh, okay.
You didn't know about this?
No, I didn't.
You know who's doing Running Man? Edgar Wright.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems weird.
No, when you read the book, it's different.
Okay.
The book isn't. So the movie that you see with Schwarzenegger kind of takes two books together and kind of mashes them a bit. It takes the concept of what Stephen King's book was, because Stephen King's book, like the Running Man, is more a Most Dangerous Game than anything.
Okay.
Than it was like the game show thing.
Yeah.
But they also made they also made an adaptation of the Most Dangerous Game with the Hemsworth that was with Miley Cyrus.
Liam?
Yes. And with Christoph Waltz as the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
But when you watch it, I watched it because what they did is they did it on that what was that thing that they had where it was like the one that you're supposed to watch off your phone and it would be like little bite-sized parts of it.
Oh, what was that?
It was that one that Geffen had done, or not Geffen, Katzenberg had done.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh no, you're supposed to use this when you're on the go, so we only do like 2 or 3 parts at a time. But when you watch it cut up like that, it perfectly cut up like how to, like if you watch that movie because it's such an easy story to pick up on.
Right.
It perfectly breaks down a story perfectly. Like if you're trying to learn structure.
Oh, okay.
It does a really good job of like cutting it up, and it was like in 15 or 20 parts.
Okay.
So you get like 2 or 3 minutes of the movie each time, and each time it just cut off at the right spot.
That app died, right?
That app died fast, and there were some good shows on that fucking app too. When the Streetlights Go On, if you could find that one, that was a really good one. That Most Dangerous Game, I think that the Most Dangerous Game is on Amazon, but it's cut together as a whole movie.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
It's fun. It's fine. It's not great, but you know what I mean. Like if you know what you're getting into, it's like with the 4:30. Okay, so we were talking about 4:30 movie a minute ago. That's the only thing I watched. I watched 4:30 movie because I got it for my birthday.
Yeah. So
4:30 movie isn't the best Kevin Smith movie, but it's very much in the vein of early Kevin Smith.
Okay. Oh.
And it feels a little more Mallratsy, more Clerks than anything. And it's just about it's essentially his Fablemans, when he's a kid.
Okay.
And about how he knows about movies and shit, and how he would go to movies and movie hop, and it's about his first girlfriend kind of a bit, and things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's good, but there's like a references to like immediately in that movie there's a Flash Gordon reference.
Oh, okay.
And then
Damn.
there's a Fletch reference, and like there's all these movies that they go and see that they watch that are references to 80s movies, and it's great. It's fun. Like the more. It's definitely not his best because I feel like he's very much like I go in and out 90-minute movies now, and I don't like that on this one. Like this one, I wanted to be in this role a little bit longer. There's some things that he doesn't follow up on later that are just funny. I think he just want to kind of put in there and get out,
right?
Get him off his chest. That's fine, but I would have loved to see more payoff on those things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's little things here and there that like, and I understand he probably didn't have like the people who cameo. There's a ton of cameos in the movie. Okay. Like there are like like when you go back and watch Clerks 2 and Clerks 3, now they always do the cameos and things that they've done. Kind of the same things like that. So I don't know how long they had those people for that time.
Ooh, question. Now that we're talking about Kevin Smith, he never came out with his hockey movie, did he?
No.
Oh,
it's hard because he was even talking to because he tells a story about how he called Jerry Bruckheimer's office at one point.
Okay.
And he actually got him on the line.
Oh, no shit.
And he was all like, he was talking about his hockey movie. He goes, dude, I've had a hockey movie at somewhere for a while, and it's hard to get a hockey movie made.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That hockey movie would be great, too, because it's supposed to be a two-parter.
Oh, nice.
It was really cool, like, the way he was talking about it. So, I hope they do something with it, because it would be good. But he also wants to do Moose Jaws.
That was another one that I was
He's still working on doing Moose Jaws. He's got another Jay and Silent Bob movie coming out because he lost a bet to Jay.
Oh, so
he lost a bet, so he had to write another Jay and Silent Bob movie called like Drug Wars or something like that.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be a little bit more like with the whole like unions and stuff like he had in Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, okay. And
yeah, so there's a lot. He's still doing stuff. He's got a lot of stuff that he's working on. But 4:30 movie is fun. It's very much like an 80s movie, but like I would have liked to have been in that world. Like give me 15 more minutes in that world, and I would have been fine. It's a good movie still. It's fun. It's really funny. It's just I would have loved to have been in that. Like there's so much more they could have mined. There's so much more you could have mined out of those characters.
Yeah.
But you can see everybody like okay. So there's a character Bernie, which is Ernie, his friend Ernie, which is essentially Rick Darris.
Oh, okay.
That's the guy who plays Rick Darris.
Yeah.
That's his friend, like that. And one of his other friends, I don't think pops up in the movies often, but it's about him. Essentially about him and Rick Darris growing up and going to the movies.
That's cool. Listen, I saw because I don't have time to watch anything, but I did watch the whole PBS Ken Burns Civil War documentary.
Oh,
so I've seen it before,
mm-hmm.
But this time, like I think because I'm older, like I really appreciated a lot of it now. But yeah, Ken Burns, really good.
Yeah.
Hey, Forrest.
Hey, Jimmy.
For this month, we're doing a themed
of guilty pleasures.
Guilty pleasures. So we're gonna watch my favorite guilty pleasure, a little movie called Ready to Rumble. Yeah.
You've been trying to get me to watch this movie for
it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Like it has everything you want: heart, movie stars, wrestling. Next week.
Well, that's going to do it for the episode this week. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our Instagram
at yhblankthat,
or you can email us at yhblankthat@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.